On Sunday the 29th of June, all roads in this part of Derbyshire led to Flagg, Monyash
and Chelmorton for the 2014 Harrison Cameras High Peak Road Race.
This is Race HQ, the Chelmorton Institute.
And this is where the riders and officials gather to sign on, check their kit and get ready for the challenge ahead.
Now Graham, last year you were one of those competitors, but you aren't in the race this year. And we'll find out why after we've heard from some of those who are. Good morning, Steve.
Morning.
Yeah, you were second place here in 2011.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Excellent. And you've come back again?
Come back for more, yeah.
Last year I just sort of finished in the main group, but this year moved for the top 10.
I had a dodgy couple of weeks. I'm on the winter bike today, so some of the bike's in bits at the moment.
A bit dubious, my first time here. I've heard it's a very tough race, so with the wind blowing as well, I think it'll spread it out a bit and we'll see what happens.
And is it the first time you've ridden the High Peak Road Race?
No, this is my third time, so failed miserably on the first time. Second time, not too bad, so fingers crossed third time. I managed to stay with the bunch and hang in there.
And you're riding in the scratch group, so...
I am, yeah, so you're going to have to work a little bit, I think.
How old now?
15.
15, right.
I'm in the front group this year, so I'm 53.
Right, okay.
So, yeah, decent sized group there, hopefully if we all keep working.
Yeah, I think we will. I think it's got to be a fast start because there's some good riders in the middle group.
Yes.
So, looking forward to it.
You keep coming back for more.
Every year, yeah.
And I also believe your father's riding the race as well.
Yeah, 8 minutes in front of me, believe it or not.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we can stay away this year and grab a good finish.
And of course there's a first time this year there's a preem on the third lap.
Right, glad you remind me.
Yeah, I've just heard, so that's going to make it a bit more exciting. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully I can have a go at that.
Yeah, it's a tough course out there. What makes you keep coming back for more?
Great route, well marshalled, just a generally good event all round, so enjoyable.
I just want to say thanks to all the organisers and the village as well for putting on a great event. It's
Lovely.
been really good.
Well, they do say that the team who revived the High Peak Road Race back in 2010 made it one of TLI's flagship events. And this year it's got a new race organiser, and it's someone who I do believe rode the race last year and was actually third scratch rider across the line.
That's right, although 20th overall. So with that in mind, this year we've altered the handicapping to 3 and 5 minutes to bring them all together for a bunch sprint in the final lap.
So on race day, there's a final briefing for the competitors. Then they ride up to where the race begins. And we can join the action just as the first group, the long markers, are lining up for the start.
And that's Gary Stewart wetting his whistle. He's one of 19 long markers who have travelled today from as far afield as Liverpool, Lancaster and Lincoln. One rider to watch out for could be Onimpex Bioracer's Steve Jolly, who's come here with a couple of recent road race podiums under his belt.
Anytime?
Yep, shall we give the old
And that's timekeeper John Grove counting down.
And John Collins waving the flag and sending the riders off into what is now a rather persistent drizzle. And the lead cars showing a red flag because the first section of the race is neutralised so that the riders can get the chance to look at a couple of tricky spots on the course so they don't get caught out.
The first potential hazard is the S-bend at Town Head. And the other is at the far end of the village where there's a cattle crossing at Town End Farm.
And that may well be getting a bit slippery thanks to the cows and the rain. After that, the race begins in earnest and the riders turn to the right for the fast descent down towards Monyash.
Now, the middle markers, who have a 5-minute handicap, includes 6 chef wreck riders, and they make up almost half of this 14-strong group. That's Stephen Carley nearest the camera, and behind him the red machine of John Hemsworth.
And there they go, obviously keen to get rolling because this year there's only a 3-minute gap before they'll be followed by the scratch group,
who even now are approaching the line.
Good morning, Graham, defending champion of the High Peak Road Race.
Yeah, I know, and I'm just hoping everyone's going to work together, right lads? Are we working?
Yeah, the weather isn't exactly what we expected.
No, I mean it was great last year, wasn't it?
And your form this year's been good, so...
I had a bad start, but it's getting better, so we'll see how it goes.
Very good. Well, good luck. Enjoy yourselves, everybody, and have a great ride.
All right, cheers. Thank you.
1 minute.
This is the third group, elite riders with form, like Littlewood and Nichols, who we heard from earlier, and they have an 8-minute handicap to level the playing field. But numbers 80, 81 and 82 are entries on the line.
So they get put into this group without reference to the handicappers.
30 seconds.
So as the seconds tick down here at the start, let's take a look to see what distances this elite group will have to make up.
The middle markers are coming to the end of the neutralised section.
So they're 2.6k ahead.
And the long markers are starting their climb up Horse Lane,
which puts them 5k in the lead.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And so the scratch group power away, and we're going to stay with them through this initial neutralised section of the course. Now, because the second half of the S-bend is blind, it's important that on lap 1 the riders get the chance to clock where the marshals are, because they're the ones watching out for any oncoming traffic.
But at Town End Farm, the well-moistened cow muck and the spray from it are just the sort of rural hazards that these guys will be well used to,
along with the other highs and lows of the High Peak landscape. The race starts at an elevation of 360 metres, and in the first 4.5k it drops steadily by 100 metres to the low point at Monyash. Then it's an undulating climb along Horse Lane to where the road flattens out for a straight, flat kilometre to just beyond the eventual finishing line. Then there's a welcome downhill breather for half a kilometre before a steady 2k climb back to the start.
So now just coming up Horse Lane, this is the scratch group. There's quite a little bit of surface water, and there's Graham Kemp working on the front there.
And it's good that they're working together, because that's the best way for them to conserve their energy.
And they'll need to do that, because as you can just about see through the raindrops, we inadvertently started the lap board at 6 instead of 5, which meant the guys did an extra lap this year and clocked up 78 kilometres instead of the expected 67.
And another innovation, this time intentional, was to include a preem. In this case, it was a prize sponsored by Eric Gilbert Carpets, and this gave us a race within a race, aimed at the long markers.
And here they are on lap 2, climbing up the back straight to Rockfield House. And that rider working his way to the front of the pack is Steve Jolly from On Impact's Bio Racer. And when we see the long markers again at the start of lap 3, you can just hear the marshal warning the riders that there are cattle on the road.
But the main news is that the peloton has allowed Jolly to slip off the front on his own, and he's created a gap of 9 seconds. And that's still the case as he speeds through Flagg Village.
Although now the gap is between him and 2 chasers, Wilkinson and Littlewood, who said he was going to try for the preem. Anyway, they in turn are 7 seconds ahead of the 13 remaining long markers who are still in the bunch.
Back up the course, and now it's the scratch riders' turn to negotiate this 4-legged chicane.
Or is it a Charolais? Anyway, up at the front it's still a 1-horse race as Steve Jolly increases his lead to 26 seconds to take the Eric Gilbert Carpets preem from the trailing peloton of long markers. However, by the time they get to Rockfield House on the home climb, they're all back together and fighting to keep some clear road between them and the chasing pack of 14 middle markers. Although at the moment it's these 8 scratch riders who have just been past the crossroads and look like they're about to do the catching first.
And it's Langsett Cycles, Harrison Cameras, Andy Nichols who opens the throttle and leads the scratch riders straight past the middle markers, led by Chef Rex Stephen Carley. When they get to the start of lap 4,
The two groups have merged into one, and this combined peloton is now only 2 minutes behind the leading 16 long markers, who have just negotiated the right-hand bend at the top of Hubbardale, led by Nottingley Valo's Pete Clements, Simon Oldfield from Abbotsford Park, and Sharrow's John Lister.
And 1k further on, Chefrec's Luke Allen is leading the chasers, middle markers and scratch, in hot pursuit, but still 150 behind.
Beautiful rolling hills of the High Peak, and threaded across them, Horse Lane. On the map, it only rises by 50 metres from end to end, but because it undulates, the riders actually have to climb that height twice over.
But of course, in between the ups, there are a couple of downhills where you can sit back, enjoy the view and take it easy, before the unforgiving terrain presents another workout for the legs and cardiovasculars. But although there are some grimaces, these long markers are coping with this incline at the end of Horse Lane better than some.
Believe me, if you're not in form, this final stretch is really hard work.
This is where the middle markers and the scratch group will press hard to make up for lost time.
And some of these scratch guys are pressing very hard, as indeed, but they're not getting away from the middle markers, nor from this guy, Steve Davis.
On lap 2, he suffered a puncture on Horse Lane.
Nobody had a spare wheel, but one of the marshals offered his own back wheel from his bike, fitted it and got him on the way.
Absolutely fantastic support from the marshals. They really help out and make this event really fantastic.
And 2 laps later, Davis is still in with the middle markers, heading for the crossroads, and now they've got the long markers clearly in their sights.
This is the start of lap 5. They've been racing for 1 hour 20 minutes.
And our motorbike is in the 6-second gap between the two pelotons.
But the safety cars have dropped out, so they're expecting the two groups to come together very soon.
At the S-bend, the long markers are still out in front.
But last year's winner Graham Kemp and Alex Littlewood and the rest of the chasers are closing fast.
And now they're overtaking our motorbike camera and closing on the back of the long markers.
Now this is the view from Alex Littlewood's bike cam, and although he wants to overtake, Kemp's taken the clear line and Littlewood's been forced into the bunch.
But he's found a safe path through and he's back chasing Kemp, past Sharrow's John Lidster and Smith from Mapley CC.
But would you believe it? It's his father pulling out to pass a van, and so Steve Jolly's taken his road.
But it's all clear now, and the 15-year-old's got a clear path to tuck in behind the new race leader, Graham Kemp of Graham Way.
And so, as the peloton steams through Flagg Village on lap 5...
These are the 35 riders who are still making a race of it. And it's Chefrec's Luke Allen who's set the pace down the Dale to Monyash, where they turn into the uphill section of the course.
And this is where we may see a break happen. 1k further on, and the steep gradient up Horse Lane has indeed allowed 5 riders to pull away. You can see the main group now is lined out. That's very much different than it has been all the rest of the race. Well, it's not quite what the weatherman forecast this morning. There I was, bringing my shorts and sun cream, and it's decidedly grey, quite windy, and definitely damp. It's great to see the Red Cross ambulance still there with the scratch group. That really does mean that there hasn't been any incidents that they've had to stop and attend to. So that's great news. The roads have been well swept and prepared by the race organisers, taking away a lot of the gravel that's been recently running off onto the sides.
This is the crossroads at the foot of the final climb up the back straight, and Kemp is getting dropped by leaders Littlewood, Kenway, Nichols and Percival.
The 4 guys in front stay together through Flagg on lap 6, but Kemp, who is now 52 seconds behind them, is about to get caught by the peloton.
The leading group turns into Horse Lane, a minute after the 21 chasers make the right-hand turn into Hubbardale. led by Withington Wheeler's Christian Spreckley and Chefrex John Himsworth.
But his teammate Alan Holloway's race has come to a premature end here at Monyash.
Well done, guys.
One lap to go, and the four leaders are still working together, and slowly but surely they're increasing their lead.
But on Horse Lane, we can see from the following motorbike cam that Stuart Percival from GMC Fire Service appears to have switched on his blue lights and everyone else has pulled over and let him go.
But the race is far from over for the remaining riders, and TLI's age category prizes are the rewards that these guys are chasing. At the finish, it's another one-horse race as Stuart Percival storms home in 2 hours 9 minutes and 25 seconds.
Ahead of this real tussle between Lancet Cycles Harrison Camera's Andy Nichols and Adam Kenway of Team Zenith Buzz Cycles, who follow in at 22 seconds.
Alex Littlewood 56 seconds.
The final incline up Horse Lane has fractured the peloton, but Chefrex Liam O'Toole is currently in 6th place, but he's been challenged by Meakin, Raven, Jolly and Kemp.
200 metres to go, and Rutland's Jamie Raven's looking dangerous, but so is Jolly. And on the line, it's Jolly who takes 5th place, followed by Kemp, Raven and O'Toole, with Buzz Cycles' Richard Meakin coming home 9th. And then Lane, Allen, Himsworth, Stewart, Sewell, Davis, Utley, Shin, Clement, Spreckley and Carley in 20th place. And as the official results list confirms, of the riders we spoke to before the race, Steve Davis and his borrowed back wheel rolled in at 2 minutes. Graham Kemp, last year's winner, was 6th. Alex Littlewood 4th and Andy Nichols 2nd. Ian Littlewood and Alan Holloway were DNFs, and Gavin Beaumont came in 1 lap down. Back at Race HQ, all the competitors got the star prize of some homemade eats and drink before Stuart Percival of GMC Fire Service took his #1 spot on the podium and the winner's jersey. And as he poses for the cameras with race organiser Graham Waller and Harrison Cameras and Lancet Cycles Andy Nichols and Team Zenith Buzz Cycles Adam Kenway, we'll start the closing credits with a full list of this year's prize winners. And here are a few words from the winner of the 2014 Harrison Cameras High Peak Road Race, GMC Fire Services Stuart Percival.
Wasn't sure how I was going to win it. I'm not a big sprinter, but I thought I'll go maybe at the top of this hill, but they hesitated at the bottom of the hill. So I just made a decision to go.
Winner of the High Peak Road Race for 2014, Stuart Percival from GMC Fire Service.
Very well done.
Yep, thanks.
Good race. Yeah, excellent. It's good event, definitely.